What is going on, world? And welcome to another episode of the Game and Watch podcast. This is episode 111, and I am your host today, Finest Dabs slash aka Our Review Gaming. And today with me, I have Justin, aka Too Tall for You Fool. Too Tall, how are you doing this wonderful daylight savings time day?
I'm good, man. I got my extra 1 hour of sleep in, took advantage of that extra hour. What can I say? Life is good. Now, let's hope that there are no more time changes throughout the world, losing an hour or gaining an hour or whatnot. You know how that is. So,
No, I don't. I actually have no idea how time changes. Can you explain to me how this works?
well, it doesn't apply to people who live in Arizona, but for the rest of at least
Suckers.
US, every March and every November, we have to face the fact that we are either going to lose an hour or gain an hour. So, and why they do that, it was something with the farmers way back in the day or something from what I learned. I don't know, but I heard Congress is trying to get rid of it now. So that's the only thing I can hope on these days is if Congress gets rid of it. So,
Yeah, the laws have already been passed. They just have to enact it.
yeah.
Yeah, and when they do, a lot of people are going to miss work. As people already do. People miss work all the time. Oh, I forgot my clocks. Oh, I forgot to set them forward. Forgot to set them back. But yeah, just I'm not envious. Arizona. That's the only reason I moved to Arizona, so I don't have to experience daylight savings time
Yeah,
anymore.
right. Yeah.
But beyond the obvious time change, how's everything else going with life, family, friends, video games?
Well, I'll talk about life, family, and friends. Just this past week was my birthday, so you're older now. Got some
Happy
gameplay.
birthday again. Nope.
Yeah. Thank you. And then just got some game playing in for the most part, and we, just looking forward to picking up some games next week that we'll talk later on throughout the show, and just I went on a little rant about GameStop, and like I said, I'm just kind of done shopping there, man. Just
Yeah.
I go in there, at least the ones in my area. I'm not saying all GameStops, but I'm sure all GameStops will be doing the same formats. Like it doesn't give you that, oh, I'm inside of a video game store feel anymore, if you know what I mean. It's just like, yeah, I can't do this. Like I'm only
Okay.
gonna go there now for just used games or pickups that I find, but otherwise, just anything else, I'm just gonna go to the major chains, at least for new games, Target, Best Buy. I mean, they got pretty decent prices on some good quality games, and then of course
Yeah.
I'm gonna support the mom and pops wherever I can, whether it
That's what I
be
was
the
about
ones
to say. Yeah.
whether it be in my local area or if I see him at a trade event, which I'm going to next week or anything like that, convention, whatnot, I'm just gonna support them. But GameStop, I try to stick with them as long as I could. I just can't do it anymore, man. So that's how I'm feeling about that. So I mean, any thoughts on GameStop with you or like where you do your physical shopping for your video games?
I actually have really good GameStop at my house. This
Oh
woman
yeah.
runs it. She's like hardcore. She's super nice.
Mm.
She tells it to you like it's real. Like she's just like, no, do not buy this right now. Like we're gonna have a sale next week. Like,
Yeah, I don't
but
have that. I don't
yeah,
have that in my area. So
yeah, she's like, don't do it. Or she's like, look it, I have this used copy. Like here, like buy this used copy. It's honestly in perfect condition. The person like opened the package, played it, popped it in once, and like never did. And she's just so cool. She runs the shop really well. I feel sorry for her that she works for actually for GameStop,
I feel
but she
sorry for
loves
any of the good employees that work for GameStop.
she I don't feel sorry for that much because I mean she honestly does love it and she's good
Yeah,
at what she does. It's just yeah, the corporate overlords that
yeah,
I
it's
think
it's
about
just
that's over her. Like I hope her GameStop can stay open forever. Versus versus a lot of the other ones that aren't necessarily run as well.
yeah, yeah. I feel like just the overlords, it's just getting worse and worse now. Like
Hmm.
with how they want to run it, and it's just like I just feel they're forgetting about the gamer. They're talking about, oh, you can come in, it'll be like a lounge. You can play video games. You can sit
No, well,
down
that
and
never happened. They did that at
yeah.
a
So
couple
I'm
of
just
test stores
like,
and yeah,
yeah. So I'm just a little like, what the fuck, man? But I just figured I had to get out off my chest. I had to rant about it because yeah, even it's bad. Even if my wife, who's not a gamer, goes in there and is wondering where are all the video games at.
yeah,
So I mean, and just for those of you listening or watching, just it's for me, it's just a little bit between of like a FYE, maybe a little bit of a hot topic. Just
yeah. Your deep cups.
uh,
Talk about FYE.
yeah, for the FYEs that are left, yeah. But I
Yeah,
mean, yes, it's just too many collectibles and not enough video games. And there's nothing wrong with collectibles. I mean, we collect stuff. I
no,
mean, I collect stuff. You collect stuff. But I mean, it's GameStop. I mean, that's the key word. So I figured I'd get that off my chest. Just ran about that for a minute, and then
okay.
in terms of what I'm playing, just got through the first part of Mario and Rabbids of
Mhm.
Hope. Really enjoying that, and then Railgrade. It's just addicting, very
Yeah,
very addicting. But I think I'm gonna have to put it down. But the good thing is, it's a puzzle game, and it's a lot longer than I thought it would be. Especially like with those grades that they give you at the end of the regions, they give you an idea of like how long you'll be playing. Like with the if you want an S grade, you got to do this region in 30 minutes. If you want an A grade, you got to do this region in like 45 minutes. So it
yeah,
is pretty time consuming game, but it's good though. I mean, it's definitely fun. If it does come to PlayStation or Xbox, I definitely would recommend it if you're looking for a relaxing puzzle game. I've recommended it to everyone in our server, other people who I've seen.
yeah.
I'm
You
in,
tell you gushed about it last week.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
So it's a pretty addicting game. And then otherwise, oh, before I forget, I got the this guy right here. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, yeah. So I'm thinking, so yeah, for those of you that are listening, it's the Genesis Mini 2, the second looking Genesis that they came out with later on throughout the 90s. So what I'm thinking about doing is maybe during one of our bye weeks or holiday weeks that we take off, I'll probably pre-record a showcase for you guys playing
Okay.
some of the games on there. So I figured that'd be pretty neat. Some of y'all would like to see it. So
Mhm.
and then last but not least, you know me, F. I got a new Bluetooth controller for the
Yeah,
Genesis.
yeah. I'm still confused by your the way you proceed with controllers. But more power to you. You know, you have you're like in it. You're gonna have to be Ganesh from like the Indian god, like with like the all the different arms in order to use all the good controllers that you have.
It's ridiculous, but I mean, I love it.
Hey, we all collect something, and yeah, respect.
Yeah, yeah,
That's yeah.
definitely. Yeah,
You do your
definitely.
controllers. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, we all do collect something, but yeah, so it's especially that new 8-bit Dough one. I think they found a winner here. So it's a really sweet controller. So
yeah.
especially if you guys want to looking for a new Switch controller that you want that Xbox feel, highly recommended. I know it's asymmetrical, but I've been doing asymmetrical for a while now, so it's I could
Yeah.
do either or, symmetrical or asymmetrical when it comes to my controllers with the joysticks.
Um, before we move on real quickly, have you popped open that the Mega Drive 2?
Uh, yes, I have.
Okay, okay. Because going into our first topic, which we will in a couple moments,
Mhm.
I just have some questions about that.
All right,
But
but yeah, I popped it open.
okay, absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing. Before we get into the nitty gritty of the episode, yeah, I've been playing Marvel Snap still. I'm also about to start. I did renew my Xbox Game Pass. Well, before I dive into that,
Oh
I've been
yeah,
playing Marvel Snap. Marvel Snap is getting a PvP mode. They said before the end of the year, so that means like in the next like 2 months, which I'm super stoked about because I was like telling Carly about it, and who is my wife, my loving wife, and she's like, "Well, can we play against each other?" And I was like, "Actually, no, we can't." And then shortly after, Marvel put out the press release because they put out an update for the game that they're going to put out a player versus player mode. So then I will be able to play against her or any other friends that do want to jump into that game, or any of you out there. I'm happy to dive in and play against some people out there because I love that game. It's very addicting also and a lot of fun. But other than Marvel Snap, I did renew my Game Pass. I'm going to be playing a Plague Tale Requiem. And we are going to do a little spoiler cast, us and the Dukes of Gaming. So that'll be happening hopefully in the near future. There is a lot of games coming out. We have like God of War Ragnarok coming out. We have Need for Speed Unbound coming out. We have all these other games coming out.
a lot of games
There's
coming out.
yeah, a lot of games coming out. Sonic Frontiers. So I'm gonna try to squeeze that in between everything else. There's also another game that I'm forgetting. Oh, I'll be talking about it at the end of the show. And then other than that, let's see. I've been playing original God of War.
All right,
So I'm still plowing my way through that one. I should be almost done. I should be maybe I would still say probably about like 4 hours ish
okay.
around that realm. So looking to wrap that up before God of War launches later, or God of War Ragnarok launches later this week. But all that said, let's dive into the show. First and foremost, thank you all for watching and listening. Another episode of the Game and Watch podcast. For you that are out there right now, obviously the time change didn't fool you guys too much. So thank you for being here and joining us today. Let's see. We are on all listening platforms. So if you want to take us on the go, you can listen to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Stacker, everything under the sun. So please, yeah, subscribe and download our episodes there. Other than that, you can email us at gameandwatchpodcast@gmail.com if you want to write in with anything that you heard about during the show, or if you have any questions, comments, or anything to make the show better. Other than that, while we are recording live, if you want to write in, correct us, give us some hot tips, takes, or anything else during the episode, please feel free to write in during the episode. Lastly, we have a Patreon. We don't use it very much because we don't have a lot of Patreon members, but we want to support you. We want to build this community. So please go on Patreon. I think the first tier starts at $1. So join us on Patreon, and then let's build this community together. Other than that, let's dive in today's news. So the first topic of today, Sega is reportedly asking players what its next mini console should be. So, this was reported as by Video Game Chronicle, but it seems a survey was being bundled with the Japanese version of the Mega Drive 2, or the Sega Drive, the Mega Drive Mini 2. So that being said, all of the Mega Drives are actually imported from Japan
Mm.
by Amazon. So Tutal, I really am curious. When you pop that thing open, did you see any surveys or anything from Sega asking about whether what the next mini console should be?
I did not see anything. I don't know
Okay.
if it was supposed to be on a paper or anything like that, and it doesn't have any online capabilities. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, which I think one thing all these mini consoles should have. I mean, they're using single board computers, so I know they can make like online capability functionality happen. But no, I haven't seen anything of like any sort. I know maybe I guess with the Japanese version, but at least with the Genesis Mini 2 American version of this thing, no.
Okay. Okay. I was curious. I was like, man, I was like, maybe Justin got a survey. He can go ahead and fill that out. And then yeah, and then we can maybe get a Sega Dreamcast mini going. But did you out of the list that was provided, I believe it's in the article right there.
Yeah.
What was there, or I should say, what systems, or if there was a system that you can choose out of the systems that it mentions in the article, was there a system that you would like to see Sega redo?
I'm just gonna go on the bandwagon with everyone else. I'll do
No.
what I would like to see them to do, and I'll do what I think they'll do. I want to see, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of the console back in the day, the Dreamcast. I would like to
No.
see them do a Dreamcast Mini. I think that would be totally awesome. What I think they will do is a Master System slash Game Gear kind of thing.
No, you think so? Really?
Yeah, that's
That
what I think
wasn't
they'll
the
do.
that wasn't the route I thought you were gonna take. So
Yeah.
I honestly I think their next console, I think they know Dreamcast is gonna be big.
Yeah.
I think getting the most of the the best games on Dreamcast, I feel like, worth all third party. Like, so I like feel like getting those licenses is gonna be like a little bit tough on the
Jet
tougher
Set
end.
Radio.
Yeah, Jet Set Radio, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Power Stone,
Mhm.
Resident Evil Code Veronica.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Well,
just a wealth. Virtual
yeah,
on,
yeah,
yeah,
Capcom's pretty easy to work with, but, but some of those other games, I don't know.
yeah. So I you know what I would say, I really probably see them doing a Sega Saturn.
Okay, Sega
Keep it in
Saturn.
keep it internal. And I could see a Sega Saturn mini coming out, and then yeah, I can see that like loaded up with maybe like Virtual Fighter. Yeah, I don't know. There's gonna be some other games out there
If
too,
if
but
if they do a Sega Saturn Mini, hopefully it's better than a PlayStation 1 Mini, especially if they're only giving us 20 games or something like
well,
that.
every so far pretty much everything's been better than the PlayStation, the PlayStation Mini. So I don't think we're gonna have to worry too hard about that.
And Sega does them
Uh,
right too. So I mean,
yeah.
for those of you that got the Mega Drive Mini 2 or Genesis Mini 2, it's probably one of the best mini consoles that you can pick up right now. And the only thing
Mhm.
that's a little weak about it, obviously, it's the game selection. Obviously, they can't use the same exact games from the first one, but I mean, with the features they give you and everything, it's definitely a collector's item. What can I say?
Yep. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And they're making in less stock of it. So if you are gonna pick it up, now is the time. Otherwise, it's gonna be very difficult to get in the near future. So other than that, I believe that's all we would have to really say about that. But in regards to our next topic, Phil Spencer says 2023 first party games are looking pretty good. This is reported by IGN. But speaking to Same Brain on YouTube, Spencer said that he understands why players are frustrated at the lack of major Xbox only games. with last year's Halo Infinite arguably being the most recent. Um, yeah, but Phil Spencer then noted that 2023 is set to be a big year for the company. Um, let's see. So, yeah, I mean, you know what? We hope so. I mean, personally, I hope so. But too tall. How do you feel about those comments from Phil Spencer? Do you feel like
uh,
2023 is going to be the year that Xbox really starts bringing out those bangers? I mean, we know some of the obvious games that are coming out. We know we have Starfield. We know we have Redfall. Other than that, I honestly I really don't know much else of what's slated for Xbox first party games.
well,
But
mm,
yeah, are you excited about maybe potentially some of those games or any other ones that Xbox might be coming out with?
the only one I'm excited about from what I'm seeing in this article, it would be Forza Motorsport 8.
Hmm.
So I mean, and I don't think that will be delayed. I think that will come out on time because the guys behind Forza, they're usually on point when
Yeah.
it comes to putting out their games. Everything else, I mean, it's all up in the air. I mean, yeah, just we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, hopefully, Redfall and Starfield don't see another delay. Um, I don't know. They gotta do something. I mean, he admits that it's been too long since Xbox had a major first party exclusive game. So with that being said, it's real tough to see what's going to happen in terms of what they're going to put out in 2023. Hopefully, they do something, especially with all these studios that they have. So I mean,
Hmm.
I want to see them do well. I really do. I mean, I'm not an Xbox hater. I want to see all three big companies do well in terms of sales, people going to their platforms for whatever games they want to play. But I mean, I hate to say it right now. I mean, if you have a Xbox Series X or S, I mean, it's
Hmm.
looking like dead weight unless you're playing it for some of the third party games that are just putting their games on the upper echelon of consoles now, since they're not putting them on PS4 or Xbox One anymore. At least for some of the games, not all of them, but a good chunk of the games now. We'll get into some of those later, but um, I I just want to see them put something out,
Yeah.
like just I mean, we had the delays. I mean, the delays happen. I get it. I mean, but with all those studios, you got to be putting something out, and these Game Pass Day One exclusives. I mean, most of them, which are just timed exclusives. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And you know what? I mean, technically, they don't own a lot of those studios yet. I mean, we're still seeing a lot of pushback about that acquisition. Right now,
Yeah.
the estimated timeline is going to be Q2 of next year for potential acquisition of Bethesda and Activision. So I mean, there's still some time. I mean, there's still plenty. There's still a lot of time before they officially acquire those studios, before they can really start getting them to Game Pass. But I mean, some of the several months ago, what was that? I believe it was like in June. That we saw like the Xbox showcase where they announced like their
Oh yeah.
12 month slate. And I mean, there wasn't a ton there. Yeah, a lot of them are going to be like cross exclusive games, or not. I guess they're not exclusive, they're cross, but they're games that are going to be coming out on multiple platforms. But some of the games that they bolstered were like Gotham Knights, Atomic Hearts. Some of these games have already come out, obviously. Pentiment, Halo Infinite Season 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Warhammer 40,000, Dark Tide, Aura History, Untold, Stalker 2, League of Legends, Valorant, Arc 2 are just some of the games that they highlighted. And if you know, like, a common theme with all these games is a lot of them have been announced for other systems. And yeah, none of them are really first party. None of them are first party Xbox games. So I'm really looking forward to 2023. I'm looking forward to more announcements for 2023. I don't know. I love No Man's Sky. I don't know if I need that art out of Starfield. I honestly, I really don't even feel like I know what Starfield is quite yet. It almost seems like like a combination between, for me, like a new Mass Effect and No Man's Sky. In terms of like, oh, you can visit all these different worlds and you can explore and yeah, you get to mine and build out your spaceship and build out your fleet and your arsenal, and you get to explore. Yeah. So I don't know how I feel about that one. Redfall didn't really like, as an arcane game. It didn't
Mm,
really look as polished as I would have liked. Of course, it was an early glimpse, an early preview, so it could end up looking like, a lot better closer to release. But just I'm already kind of burnt on like these 4v1s type of games. We've seen like the Predator one come out. We've seen the
mhm.
Friday the 13th one come out. There's the I believe it's called Days of the Dead. No, that's not it. Um, yeah. Anyway, there's just quite a few of them. You know, being released, and so I don't know if I necessarily need another one of those games, especially with vampires. Um, I what can I say? Just totally being honest, like I'm not that hip to it, but for those people that do love those games, of course, I'm sure it'll hit hard. Arcane does wonderful games.
Mhm.
But other than that, I mean, was there anything else you wanted to mention in terms of Xbox and their 2023 game release?
I mean, maybe we'll see some, trailers when the Game Awards come up, and it's about less than a month away now, so or about a month away. So just they'll make some noise there, with Jeff Healy and this all that. So I mean,
Yep.
I think that'll give us more of a clear direction of where they want to go. So I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. So, as far as our next topic, we're talking about what's coming to Game Pass. All right. So we already talked about games for gold on last week's episode, so make sure to go and check that out. But yeah, I mean, we have some games coming to Game Pass here. Let's see. Let me go ahead and just go ahead and read these off real quick. We have Return to Monkey Island. We have Football Manager coming 2023. We have Ghost Song. We have Pentiment. We have I'm probably gonna pronounce this wrong, but we have Tien Ding. We have Vampire Survivors, Somerville, The Walking Dead, A New Frontier, and The Walking Dead Michonne, from the a Telltale series. So J Man, um, we were kind of down on games for gold last week. With
Yeah.
you seeing these games that are being announced for Game Pass, does that get you any more excited for this month in terms of Xbox?
All right. Well, I'll let you in on something I didn't say at the start of the show.
Mhm.
I also renewed my Game Pass.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, I'm gonna do it for. I think I will do it for the rest of the year at least. Return to Monkey Island. I know Mark or one of our colleagues, Mr. Madness. You need to come on the show, man. But yeah, he was really big on the Monkey Island series. So I know I'm a little curious about that. But one of the main games I want to play from this list, believe it or not, Vampire Survivors. That looks fun. I don't know if you've seen previews for it, but it just looks fun, and I could probably play it right now through Steam since I do got the rig for it.
Mhm.
I'm just lazy when it comes to PC gaming. I know I'm a bad PC gamer, guys, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. To at least those two games, and then definitely the holidays are coming. I want to try to link up. Want to get some more Shredder's Revenge in, or just any other games. Just through Game Pass that multiplayer games that anyone would want to play.
Yeah.
And then also looking at the preview here, TN Ding, that also looks real fun. So,
Yeah, I would that was the one game that I was
mm,
like, uber excited for. I was like,
uh,
"Oh, this looks like a pretty solid hand-drawn platformer or like side-scrolling adventure game." So yeah, I'm right there with you.
yeah. So, I mean, I know there hasn't been a whole lot to be excited about with Game Pass as of late. folks, but I mean, after seeing this, I mean, I'm not saying it's a killer lineup, but I mean, if you're curious, like with Monkey Island, Vampire Survivors, don't got a gaming PC or whatnot, because that's the only way to play that game, or Ghost Song. I mean, these are some pretty solid games that I would be curious to check out, even if you're just going to do it for a month. I think the
Mhm.
$15 is worth it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally does. And yeah, I mean, like I said, Return to Monkey Island, there's
Hmm.
definitely for those that like those point and click adventures, definitely should check those out. Let's see. And then yeah, I mean, I've heard relatively good things about Somerville.
Uh,
The Telltale series is always a lot of fun also.
yeah,
I
Telltale is definitely good.
let's see. There was one person in our Discord that was really excited about football manager. And a
Oh,
few episodes back.
I forgot. I forgot. It's wrong. I'm drawing a blank. So I know you're talking. I know what you're talking about because I remember the post, but
Yeah, it was a Segoy.
I want to say it was Segoy or one of our UK folks.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's right. It might be King's Gambit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Yep.
what it was. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, super excited about football manager. So I know they'll be jumping into that one. But
Console
yeah,
and PC. So yeah.
yeah, but this lineup in terms of games isn't the reason why I would jump back into Game Pass. But if you have it, yeah, why not? Definitely give these games a try. And then actually a little bit surprised that you're excited for Survivor. That is like looks like super retro.
Yeah.
Um,
Super
but yeah,
retro, even retro beyond me, but it looks fun. So I mean, I definitely do want to give it a try, and then I'll get some of the other games to try too. T and Ding, and then what else? And then definitely Ghost Song looks pretty cool also. And then Monkey Island, I'll give it a try. And then some of the other games that have come out within the past throughout the year. I forget the one game where the decision making game. I forget the name of the game. I'm drawing a blank
that
right
you
now.
make decisions in every game.
I'll have to find it, but yeah, just but I kind of want to jump into that also. I think it's a
Okay.
timed exclusive right now for Xbox. So I'll find the name of the game. I'll let you know.
Okay. Sounds wonderful. All right, and let's see. We're gonna keep the theme going, but we're gonna talk about a different company. We're gonna actually talk about PlayStation Plus and games that they're adding to their service coming this month. So we have Ratchet and Clank games are joining the PlayStation Plus Premium service. So if you have Extra or Plus, yeah, you're kind of out of luck. But for those that do have PlayStation Premium, yeah, you'll be able to essentially play most of the Ratchet and Clank games that are being added to the service. So Sony and Insomniac have announced that they're adding 5 Ratchet and Clank games to PlayStation Premium as part of the series' 20th anniversary celebration. Happy birthday, Ratchet and Clank. So they're also adding new costumes or new cosmetics to Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And then in terms of the games that they're adding that'll be available to the subscription service on November 15th, it'll be Ratchet and Clank Going Commando, Up Your Arsenal, Deadlock, and Tools of Destruction. God, I love their names. So you'll be able to pick those up, and then there will be 5 armors that will also be available once again for the anniversary 20th anniversary pack. But yeah, too tall. Are you ready, or do you don't have premium? Um,
Nope, nope, I
no,
don't. Well, I actually do need to pick up the Ratchet and Clank game for the PS5. Well, I need to finish on the PS4. So I've been
no.
kind of lagging it on the Ratchet and Clank series. But I mean, if you're a big Ratchet and Clank fan, this is kind of a sweet deal. I would jump on this.
Mm,
All these old games, great games. For the most part. So I mean, it's just another reason. PlayStation is just giving you a reason to jump onto the premium tier of their subscription service. So,
Yeah.
Lazy me, I'm still just with the essential. Mine actually just renewed for a whole year last week. So, yeah. So,
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that these games weren't already in the service,
mhm.
just with it being like such main staple, like play synonymous PlayStation games. So that was a little bit surprising because I just would have already assumed, like, but I already own every Ratchet and Clank game except for the newest one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
on
obvious
PlayStation 5.
reasons.
Yeah, because I don't have a PlayStation 5 yet. So,
I'm surprised they didn't put it on PS4. Do you think they will put it on PS4 eventually? Will we see an announcement next year about it, or?
no, a Rift Apart is a technical powerhouse.
Oh,
So just jumping from dimension to dimension, the graphics just
oh,
in
so
that
they
game.
can't put it on PS4,
Yeah, they might be able to, but they would have to make a lot of concessions
dumbing
in
it down a
order.
lot, and
Yeah, so is it worth it? Maybe it could be. They could
yeah.
sell more copies of it, but
If they're doing
yeah,
it with God of War, I guess. I mean, I don't know, but
yeah, but I don't know. It just it probably wouldn't play the best. Yeah, and then they wanted to make sure that they got that game out when the PlayStation 5 was released
yeah,
also.
I know that was one of their big ones that they
So,
were banking on in terms of launch titles. Definitely. Oh
yeah.
yeah, to go back to that previous article with the Xbox. Sorry to come out of left field. As Dusk
Mm.
Falls, I wanna try that game out.
Ah, okay.
Well,
Okay.
as Dusk Falls. So,
Very
but
nice.
yeah. So a lot to look forward to with the Xbox and the PlayStation.
Yeah, yeah. We got games coming. More games than we have time to play.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
All right, and for our next topic, Hideo Kojima, his game leaked. So yeah, this was it leaked online. So the game actually leaked on social media via a video embedded that was essentially someone's phone. They were able to get it on their phone, and then they show it re-recorded on their phone. Like, anyway, I'll show the video, but um it appears to feature Margaret Qualley, who's starring Kojima Productions debut game Death Stranding. It also appears that the character is using a flashlight to navigate dark corridors. And then, yeah, Kojima said earlier this year, I believe it was in June, that they're working on a cloud-based project. The game It's the game that he said he always wanted to make, and it's going to be a completely new game, one that has never been experienced or seen before. And he said he's waited a very long time for the day that he can finally start to create it. And then he said also with Microsoft's cutting edge cloud technology, and the change in the industry's trend, that it has now become possible to challenge himself to make a never before seen concept. So those are very, very big words coming from Kojima. This very much could be a Microsoft exclusive game. But I don't believe that has been confirmed, but we do know Kojima is using Microsoft servers. But here goes the footage of the game. Too tall. Are you excited for Kojima's next project post Death Stranding?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what he comes out with. Death Stranding, I mean, for the most part, looked like a great game, but just didn't really spike any interest in me. This,
Mm-hmm.
from what seen with this so far, I mean, it looks like I want to, learn more about it, see what it's about. Looks like maybe like a kind of horror game or something like that. She's walking in the
Yep.
dark, and then from what I'm also hearing is, I guess the video, whoever recorded it leaked it into a Discord server
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. But I don't know. But one thing is, and you probably see this with the reflection, why does old boy have his shirt off recording?
You
I
know
couldn't
what?
resist. I couldn't.
You gotta capture these videos when you can. He's chilling at home, he's getting this exclusive footage. Making sure it doesn't get wiped from the web. But yeah, he does have his shirt off in the reflection. I was trying to ignore that bit, but yes,
I
thank
couldn't
you.
resist.
Yeah, thank
Second.
thank you thank you for pointing that out.
Sorry, audio listeners, but yeah, definitely check it out. Google it. Overdosed leak Hideo Kojima on YouTube. You'll find something. But
Yeah, you know what? I mean, if this is possibly like the new PT, I think this could be something big. Everyone loves where Kojima's mind is at. Like he is such an inventive, creative mind. People are always just so fascinated with his games. I've never really been big in the games that he's really released. I mean, I wasn't big in Death Stranding. I loved when he was doing the Metal Gear series.
Metal Gear,
Because the
yeah.
Metal Gear series just went in directions that I've never ever expected those games to go in. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not exceptionally not I'm not exceptionally excited about this one either. But for those horror fans, there's plenty to look forward to. We're getting Dead Space next year. We're getting um essentially Overdose in the later future, and then I know there's just a pretty wide slate of horror games coming up. So definitely next year, 2023, the year of the horror games.
Yeah, yes, it is. Yeah, year of the horror game. So definitely. Yeah, yeah. You got more Silent Hill coming, more Resident Evil. Then you got this game potentially. I mean, is it
Mhm.
almost done, or is this going to take a few more years with
No, this is
Overdose?
this is probably pretty far off. He made his first announcement about the game this year, and
Yeah.
then this is the footage that we're seeing. But I would probably say probably another year or two off.
Mhm.
I know, I mean, he just released or Sony released the Death Stranding PC version, or they're about to, I believe. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if that's come out yet. And then yeah, I mean, Death Stranding, what came out 2 years ago? Came
Yeah.
out what in what
19,
2020? Was it
2019,
2019? Okay,
I think. Yeah, I could be
yeah,
wrong, but you can fact check me on that. But yeah.
yeah. So I think it's a little ways away, but we'll see. And then I don't know what engine he's working on, because Death Stranding, he worked on Gorilla's engine for that they use for Horizon Zero Dawn. So I don't know if he's using the same engine or if he's using another engine provided by Microsoft, or maybe one they developed themselves.
Hmm. For sure. Yeah, definitely. So we'll have to
Yeah,
see what engine he's using, but
yeah.
that's the only thing I hate about games these days is they take years upon years to develop. So it's not like back in the day where it's just like, oh yeah, this game, and then the sequel will come out next year. Like no, no, doesn't work like that anymore unless you're doing like a retro 8-bit or 16-bit inspired game. So it's
Yeah,
like
those don't even come out back to back years anymore.
yeah, so it's
Yeah,
like it's ridiculous, but it is what it is.
yeah, but we have way more games releasing than ever before. And
Yeah,
speaking of more games than we have releasing ever before, we have Marvel and EA. They signed a three game deal, or a 3 game contract, to release, of course, 3 Marvel games. So, as reported by Bloomberg, this deal will begin with a Iron Man game that was previously announced. That'll EA Motive, the developers of the Dead Space remake, will be making the first game. With all 3 games coming to consoles and PC. So though the details about what's coming after Iron Man are still very thin, meaning we don't know anything. Um, each game will feature its own original story set in the Marvel universe. So of course EA is known traditionally for its shooters. And we know that EA had a ton of the Star Wars deals before Disney started licensing Star Wars, I believe, earlier this year or late last year, to multiple other studios after the EA deal. Yeah, we're gonna see EA come out with an Iron Man game, and then 2 other games beyond that. Tutal, what other Marvel franchises would you like to see
Well, if
come
they're doing
from EA?
if they're doing just straight superheroes, it's a kind of a tough one. I mean, you would have to think at least, Captain America. I
Mm,
mean,
you
I
think
mean, what?
Captain America would get a soul game by itself?
Yeah, I mean, it had a solo movie by itself before the whole MCU came to fruition back in the early '90s. I think it was. It sucked, but just but
Mhm.
it had its own movie, so I mean, I can see that happening. And then I don't know. I mean, if they're thinking like a particular, I don't know, maybe Deadpool or
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I
Another
mean,
Deadpool, bring back the Deadpool games. I mean, those
yeah,
games did okay.
yeah, I mean,
Um,
I don't see them doing a whole group since they said individuals, and then I don't want to go off just every Avenger that there is, and nothing personal, but I don't see a whole game coming anytime soon. I mean, that's just me. I'm not a hater or anything, but
what I'm sorry, what do you mean you don't see a whole game coming soon?
no Hulk.
Oh, Hulk game.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be the only other guy I can think of from the Avengers that they would make a game
Well, this isn't just
on.
Avengers.
Yeah.
This is gonna come from anywhere from Marvel,
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
yeah,
So
yeah. So I'm using anywhere from Marvel. So yeah, I'm gonna. I hope they do another Deadpool game. That'd be awesome.
yeah, yeah. I can definitely see that coming, especially with the Deadpool movie that we have coming out.
Mhm.
And then we also know that of course, Insomniac is making the Wolverine
Yeah.
game.
So I know. Yeah. So I know it wouldn't be Wolverine. So that's why I stayed away from him.
Yeah. And then of course, Insomniac already has Spider-Man.
Yeah. So Spider Man. Nope.
Yeah. I mean, in regards to characters that I would like to see, I mean, I would love a Gambit game.
Gambit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Marvel or X-Men's Gambit I think would be absolutely insane, or just an X-Men game in general. Just akin to, I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago about
Oh yeah.
about one arcade, what arcade should they bring back, and then I talked about the Marvel arcade, but I would, since we know the X-Men are coming to the Marvel universe, I
Hmm.
think that could be very aligned with the games that EA could potentially be bringing to the table. And I think that would be absolutely incredible. I mean, because you with Marvel, I mean, you have your Cyclops, you have Wolverine, you have Gambit, you have Nightcrawler, you
Beast.
have, yeah, you have Beast, you have Storm, you have Rogue, you have like all the major X-Men characters like right there. And I think that could be really appealing, since especially since we haven't seen anything in a very very long time. And in terms of like, I think they should make a a co-op game or a multiplayer game. Just with the success of the Avengers, I think it's probably better that they stay away from that.
Mm.
With the falling of Gotham Knights, I think
Just
they
make it
should stay away from that.
just make it single player. No need for online capabilities or anything like that. Just keep
Yeah,
it simple.
we're getting Suicide Squad next year.
I'm scared for
So
that game now after Gotham Knights, man. I mean, what you are too. I can see it in your
yeah,
face.
yeah, I am I'm a little bit scared. I just don't know what to really expect from there. After what we're seeing, and while Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights had completely different tones, um they looked very similar still,
Hmm.
so in terms of gameplay. So I am a little bit scared, but I'm also very excited. Just like I said, I'm playing Marvel Snap right now, and they have so many deep cuts in terms of characters. There's so many characters that like you do not see on a daily basis, like on just the entire Marvel universe. I think another one that would be really interesting would be Squirrel Girl. If they made a Squirrel Girl game, her power is to control squirrels. She also has agility and strength, the strength of a of a human sized squirrel. So she does have like super strength and agility and things like that. She's not very strong, but she's stronger than your average human.
Yeah.
So I think that could be a lot of fun too. Um, the only other person that I could not I, there's a lot of people that I could think of. The only other person that I would probably love to see a game where I could see interesting mechanics would be a Daredevil game.
Daredevil. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they
So
haven't done anything with Daredevil in a minute, right? So
no, no, not that I could. I think the Super no, I think there was something on PlayStation or PlayStation 2 with Daredevil that coincided with the horrible Daredevil movie that
Mhm.
came out back in the
Yeah,
day.
let's not talk about that. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, they weren't. I mean, I know Daredevil wasn't in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 or anything like that, or
hmm
so. I mean, yeah, that's it's been a minute since I've heard from Daredevil. I think that would be talk about going into the vault. That would. I think they would do a Deadpool before Daredevil, but hey, it never hurts to dream, right?
You know what? I mean, I don't know. Just in terms of a game, like thinking about like a character that can't see that uses like echolocation to fight his enemies. I think that could. I don't know. I feel like there could be something very cool and very interesting done there. I'm not a game developer, so I don't know how that would look like or who would develop that. Well, I guess I mean EA would, but I can if done right, I think it could be really cool, and I guess you can say that about any game, but yeah, I would love to see a Daredevil try, a developer give that a try.
All right, right on, definitely. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we'll definitely see what EA does with this. Hopefully, they don't screw this up. That's the only thing I'm afraid of because it's EA, so it's like, oh, it's bound to
No,
get.
I mean they did pretty well with the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah,
So, I mean, we got a pretty wide array of Star Wars games.
mm,
We got The Last Jedi, we got Star Wars Squadrons, we got Battlefront,
yeah.
and
Battlefront was all right.
all those were pretty well received games. So, I think EA is going to be fine.
All right.
They have pretty strong studios.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I mean, I'm not that worried, but if it was anyone else, like maybe Square, then I'd be like, "Ugh."
Yeah, well, I mean, Square, we got Marvel's Avengers,
Yeah,
which didn't do great. So, anyway, speaking to more games and more
more games,
IPs,
more
more
IPs.
games. Yep, we got a new Deus Ex game in early development, along with a new IP. So let's see. This was reported by True Achievements, but the Embracer Group first has shut down its newest, well, not its newest acquisition studio, um, Anoma Studio, which was just renamed 3 weeks ago, and was originally Square Enix Montreal. So some of the staff will be reportedly moved to Eidos Montreal, which is apparently working on a new Deus Ex game, and more. So yeah, the there was a $300 million acquisition of most of Square Enix's Western studios by Embracer Group a couple months back. We did report on this, so if you did watch that previous episode, you can go back and watch that again, or if you haven't watched it, you can go back and watch it.
Yeah,
But yeah, the studio behind the Mobile Go series from Square Enix. So if you remember Lara Croft Go, if you remember Hitman Go, those are some of the games that they did. That studio was recently named Anoma only 3 weeks ago, and then 3 weeks later, Embracer Group has shut down the studio completely, with some of 200 members of staff transitioning or transferring to Eidos Montreal, which was reported by Bloomberg's Jason Schreier earlier this week. But then they're also working on a fresh IP, as well as assisting Xbox with their new Fable game. So wow. The, I when I heard this news, I was like, really? I was like, I was a little bit dumbfounded. But Justin, do you have any initial thoughts or any initial impressions when you heard the news?
Not really. I mean, I mean, with the studio shutting down and everything, so all those guys had to get moved. But I mean, I wasn't like, I mean, it looks like a normal game. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't blown away by like the footage or anything like that. But I mean, it looks like a new Deus Ex game, in early development alongside a new IP. I'm more curious about what the new IP will be. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm always looking forward to like when companies put out new IP, see if it's something that's going to stick around or anything, or
Hmm.
if if it will just be a one and done. Like I think one example of a fresh IP from Nintendo that I played a while back, Astral Chain. We'll see if we see another one of those games from Platinum Games. Those are a very good game, actually. I'd recommend it if you haven't checked it out yet. But I mean, for the most part, that's what's always the mystery to me. Like when it comes to these type of announcements with new IPs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always curious, what new IPs are coming, but that's probably so far away,
Yeah.
so who knows, but just to in regards to the article,
Hmm.
to purchase this whole new studio, a $300 million acquisition, and then to go into renaming the studio, and then like just essentially like the next day it's like, yeah, rather than renaming it and having them make a new game, we are going to shutter the studio. And we're gonna take all those people and we're gonna disperse them other places to work on other games. I mean, I guess like in terms of support, that's great because
Yeah.
the new Fable game will get sooner. The new Deus Ex game will get sooner,
Hmm.
but
Yeah,
just the
this will help with some of the other IPs, and maybe they
no,
did this because they had too many studios, $300 million, and then just to shutter down a studio and yeah, yep, we're done. Like
yeah,
that. I mean, yeah, just kind of weird there, but I mean, it's not just something you usually don't see like in any kind of industry, really, if you think about it. But
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely, and yeah, I would say, I guess, like, good luck to all of the people that did get transferred and moved out there to different, different studios and so forth. But would you say you're looking forward or would be looking forward to a new Deus Ex game or Fable game?
I've played neither of those games in the series, so I'd have to check out, some of the previous titles, and then if I
Mhm.
ever do, check them out, going through my backlog and everything, maybe I'd be a
Mhm.
little more excited. But I've heard nothing but good things about the game. So I mean, am I real excited? No, but I'm sure a lot of fans of those series are excited. So Day X's and or Fit and Fable, very good series.
Yeah, Deus Ex was like Cyberpunk before Cyberpunk. Like
Okay.
Deus Ex was very much like the game that was like all about giving you choices. So it was like, oh, are you going to stealth this game, or are you going to go in guns a blazing? What cyber mechanics are you going to upgrade your character with? I believe they had like the blades, the blades that they have in Cyberpunk, those arm ones, those mantis
Oh,
blades. They had those before Cyberpunk. So it was very much about augments and creating your character and then tackling levels, how you want them, how you want to tackle them. In that respect, I even think it influenced the Hitman series, a lot in that respect also. So yeah, I mean, Deus Ex was pretty much was a beast. I don't think it got as much critical reception as it should have, but yeah, those games were pretty good.
mm,
In terms of Fable, yeah, I'm super excited to see Fable come back. Fable was it helped make Xbox. It very much was like a game also very much about choices. Fable was like, are you going to be good or are you going to be evil? Are you going to be somewhere in between? and making those choices throughout that game uh, was was the fun part about it. That you can physically see your character change and develop as you made those choices. So like if you were going to go kill this guy, all of a sudden you became a little bit more evil, which we saw a lot of in the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 3, even PlayStation 2 realm of games, like that whole generation. If you remember, like
Mhm.
Infamous did like a similar thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I think those games are pretty cool. I think if you haven't played them, I think it doesn't hurt to go back to either one of those games. Deus
Right.
Ex, there's quite a few.
Mhm.
Fable, the Xbox keeps on canceling those the Fable games that are gonna be released, but hopefully this next one gets released and comes out in a condition or a state to where we all love it and it brings back that franchise harder and stronger than ever.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I think the fans would like to see it.
I totally agree. Yeah. Let's see. So on to our next topic. PlayStation VR2 release date and price has been revealed.
Oh boy.
Oh man. What why do you say it like that? Oh man.
Well,
It's
getting an
we
article.
for the cheap price of 549. You
Yeah.
can pre-order your PlayStation VR2 beginning November 15th. So, on a PlayStation blog earlier this week, PlayStation VR2 was revealed, and PlayStation VR2 will include, of course, the headset, the PlayStation VR2 headset, along with PSVR2 Sense controllers, and stereo headphones. There will also be let's see, a PlayStation VR2 Horizon Call of the Mountain bundle that'll retail for $599, and it will include everything from the standard edition of the PlayStation PSVR2 bundle, along with a PlayStation Store voucher for Horizon Call of the Mountain. Let's see. And then lastly, also launching on February 22nd will be PlayStation VR Sense controller charging station, which will allow players to charge their controllers through a simple click in design without having to connect to a PlayStation 5 console in order to charge them. So it'll free up those USB ports. As for pre orders, those who live in the US, UK, France, Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg will only be able to initially pre-order the PlayStation VR2 through PlayStation Online Store directly at PlayStation.com, while pre-orders begin on November 15th. For those interested, they can register today. Yeah, too tall. What's going on, man? Are you excited? Are you excited about the PlayStation VR2? You have a PlayStation 5. This announcement is for you and everyone else out there listening that has a PlayStation 5. Will you be picking up one day one, and are you excited about this?
I'm excited that we finally got more information on it finally.
Hmm.
Will I be picking one up? No. And I hate to say it, but I mean, the main reason why I won't be picking it up is because of the price. But I really hate to say this, but after doing a little bit of research, that is actually pretty cheap compared to wherever you want to do VR anywhere else, like whether it
Yeah.
be on your PC, because it costs like thousands of dollars. But
Yeah.
in terms of marketing with the PSVR2, um, I mean, I hate to say this, but I mean, I think it's right now it's been a bit of a hard sell to get people in the VR. It's kind of hard. I mean, I see where PlayStation was going with this, but it's kind of hard to justify why is this thing more than the console
Mm.
is what I mean. People are going to get into because you had a PSVR. Was that worth more than the console when that came out? I forget, but I mean, with you,
So yes, it was.
okay.
And I think a lot of people are actually forgetting that.
Hmm.
So PlayStation VR when it originally announced was $399.
Hmm.
Um, but the thing was, and then at the same time, PlayStation was $399 also, but PlayStation
Yeah.
received a price drop. So PlayStation was being sold for 350
Oh
or
yeah, that's right.
340.
It dropped to 350. I remember now. So
Yep. And then PlayStation VR was 399. But not only that, PlayStation VR did not come standard with the camera.
you had to
So
buy the camera too. So yeah, it was a lot of stuff you had to buy. I
you you
remember.
had you had to buy the camera, and not only that, it did not come with controllers.
Then you had to buy the
So
controllers.
you had to
So
buy the Move controllers if you did not already own a set. Luckily, I already owned Move controllers, but for those that didn't, if they you could always play most games with a controller, but there was a few games that you could not play with a controller, so you would have to have Move controllers. But yeah, if you wanted that full VR experience or whatever the case may be, you had to purchase Move controllers on top of that, and they weren't cheap. They're $39 each, or I believe, yeah, 30. Did they come in a bundle? Yeah, I'm sorry, they came in a bundle, but I believe it's 39 or $49 for both.
oh,
So those weren't cheap also. So you start adding all these things up.
it was more. Yeah,
It was it was
definitely.
it was it was like $500.
So this is cheaper because they're giving you like a lot of the stuff. Like you don't really have to go out and buy anything additional, right?
No,
Just the
this comes,
charger. That's right.
yeah, this comes with the camera,
Uh-huh.
this comes with the controllers, and this comes with the headset.
Hmm.
So all those things that you were missing with the original PlayStation VR, you're getting bundled in with this from day one. So is it comparable? Yeah, absolutely. Is
Yeah.
it Did it sell more than the console originally? Yes, it did. Um, so everyone that's freaking out about the price, I mean, really has to just take a hard look and look back at how it originally sold. I think the biggest difference about this is one, PlayStation 5 consoles have just recently gone up.
Yeah. I
Um,
think that's what a lot of people were like, eh.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe, maybe not. I mean, yeah, we haven't seen really a bit of a price cut with the PS5s just yet.
no,
So
we haven't. We're not going to anytime
no,
soon.
no.
The other aspect to this is um PlayStation or VR was very new at that age.
Yeah.
It was like you spoke to earlier or
Mhm.
alluded to. VR is very expensive everywhere.
Yeah, it
You
is.
know, it, but the thing is, the whole gimmick with this and the reason why PlayStation VR has a wire attached to it is because the PlayStation 5 is going to be powering this thing. Whereas a lot of like the HTC Vive headsets, and the even the Oculus or the Meta headsets, the higher
Mhm.
end versions,
Yeah.
um, you plug it into your PC also, and your PC powers it. So it's like, do you purchase $1,000 PC or more to power these sets? Because remember when VR first came out, PCs were not even powerful enough to
No, they weren't.
power it. So you had to change your initial rig in order to power VR. But now computers are powerful enough to power VR, but you still have to either purchase $1,000 PC and then purchase $1,000 headset on top of it, or you can purchase a PlayStation 5 and get this headset. And the PlayStation 5 headset is very powerful. It is on par, if not better, in terms of resolution, eye tracking, foveated rendering, all these different aspects. The pass through that's on it. It's a really powerful headset being sold for 549. And the PlayStation 5, you can essentially get all in for about $1,200 versus $2,000. But we have the Oculus Quest. We have the Oculus Quest.
Mhm.
So then the Oculus Quest just recently got a price raise, a price increase, and it's being sold for $400 now. But it does. There's no wires, and it's comparable enough. It's not going to be as strong as the PlayStation VR2, but it's comparable. At least in its current state, we don't know if it's going to be able to power, later on games. The hardware is becoming dated, and we know Meta is working on another Quest, Quest 3, I believe, that's coming out next year. but we don't know what that price point's going to be. We don't know the power that's going to be under the hood. We also saw that Meta released a headset a couple of weeks ago, or
Mhm.
not released, but they announced a headset, their $1,500 headset, which they're gearing towards businesses, and people in that market, which, and it leans a little bit harder on the AR side versus VR. But from what we've heard so far, is a relatively good headset. So with all these different factors, with everything that we discussed, and everything I just spoke to, does that change your perspective a little bit? Do you feel a little bit differently about it, or
Well,
are
I
you pretty
mean,
much on the same train?
I'm still not getting it, but I mean, like I said, I mean, um, but like I said, I mean, I know a lot of people are outraged, and like I said,
Yep.
I was in the beginning, but once I did some research, I understand why. I mean, if
Mhm.
anything, they're giving you a discount with this thing. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys do want to try out VR and you're just worried about the price, I would say, I mean, if you're waiting for a price cut, you might be waiting for a while. If you, depending upon how badly you want to get into this, and
Mhm.
just like we said, with the price raises on PS5s right now, it's really looking like, I don't think the not so much the casual gamer, the
Mhm.
casual person, the VR, because I consider VR its own niche. Like when it comes to
Yeah.
like the realm of video games, that I don't think you're going to be getting a whole lot of casual VR takers here. I'm just being honest.
Yeah. There
Maybe
there's
maybe they
so
should have waited, is what I'm thinking.
there was over 100 million PlayStation 4s out when I or there might have been, I'm sorry. Yeah, I believe, and you could fact check me. But there was
Mhm.
somewhere between, I believe, 80 million, I believe, when the PlayStation when the PlayStation VR came out, I believe there was about 80 million units in the wild. And there ultimately was a 5% attach rate through its life cycle. So
Okay.
it sold and it ended up selling. 5% is not a lot, but if you
Yeah.
think in the realm of that many units, 80 million to 100 million units being out, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's quite a few million units sold of this original device. Do you think the PlayStation VR2 in its lifespan will have an equivalent attach rate? Well, do you think it'll sell? I believe it sold over 10 million units. I believe it ended a little bit below 20 million units. Do you think we'll see a similar attach rate with the PlayStation VR2 over its life cycle?
That's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be real tough right now. I gotta see what the hype is when we get closer, but right
Mhm.
now I will say no. I think it'll do fine, but I don't think it's gonna do push 20 million units. At
Okay.
least not right now. And then it's
Well,
been
over its life cycle. So
over its life
maybe,
cycle.
yeah, we're talking about like 5 to 7 years.
I could see it doing about the same.
Okay.
I can see about doing it the same. Yeah, because right now I think one of the things is, I think right now, and I know the technology is there, but it's like, I think they should have waited to get more PS5s out in the wild before they did this, in my
Mhm.
opinion, and then just I mean, maybe, are they going too early? Maybe, maybe not. All that stuff, or they should have just found a way to make the old PSVR compatible with the PS5. But I'm no
Yeah.
technical difficulties there. That would have been maybe a little harder in some cases.
Yeah, and I
But
think that's gonna be the toughest part because we're about to talk about it next,
mm,
in terms of the games releasing. But I
yeah,
don't think I don't think there's a strong enough lineup right now.
yeah,
I totally agree with you in terms of, like, I think they should have waited till more PlayStation 5s are out there. I think they could have held back the technology a little bit,
yeah, yeah.
like, just like, I know you invested a lot of money into this thing, and you don't wanna sit on it, but in the same respect, like, there's only, like, a little over 20 million units of PlayStation 5s out there. You saw the original attach rate, you just raised the price of the PlayStation 5, and then Horizon Call of the Mountain is, like, your only game. You're like your only big title. So actually, let's go ahead and talk about real quickly just the games that they did announce. So Sony also revealed 11 new titles headed to the PlayStation VR2. Let's see. And so those titles were Switchback VR, Crossfire Sierra Squad, the Light Brigade, Cities VR Enhanced Edition, Cosmonius High, Hello Neighbor, Search and Rescue, Jurassic World Aftermath Collection, Pistol Whip VR, Zenith, The Last City, After the Fall, and Tenacular are the 11 games that they announced beyond Horizon Call of the Mountain. And these are all ports. These are these are all ports, are all on Oculus. So like none of these games were none of these games were like super hot bangers. Speaking of super hot needs to come. Half-Life Alex needs to be announced for the PlayStation VR also. Those are two games that should be already here. Like you've been
Nice.
developing. Oh yes, can you hear me? Too tall.
Can you
Hello?
hear me? Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
back.
I can hear you. I
Oh,
can hear you. We can hear you. Everyone else can hear you. I don't know where you went.
mm, yeah, I disappeared. All right. No, yeah, so the games lineup I think is like you were saying, like it only has really one game. I mean, unless you want to play some port from other
Mm,
VR headsets, whether it be the Oculus or HTC Vive or whatever. But I think what the big disappointment is, and with a lot of previous VR users from the PS4, none of those games are backwards compatible. So
no.
that's kind of a big bummer. So I
Yeah,
mean, I think that's
it is.
another reason why a lot of people are like, "Is VR really worth it?" I
Yeah.
mean, right now, I mean, I hope one day it does break through, and you see this more in people's homes. I mean, you're starting to see it more than ever in people's homes. It's
Yep.
come a long way since the days of the red and black Virtual Boy, but but I mean, I think not making those games backwards compatible. I don't know if there's like any technical issues that they could not make those games backwards compatible, but I think that's just like, really, Sony, you're trying to just take
I
our money
think
where we can. I mean, I know they
no,
don't care about
there
you, but
there is technical issues along with the new control schemes and
mhm,
stuff like that. So there is technical limitations to it. I think it can be fixed with updates.
yeah,
I don't think that they need to go back to the drawing board, but the PlayStation VR is a more is capable of producing better looking images, but I think most of it could be done with an update. Very much what we're seeing from the PlayStation 4 games and to the PlayStation 5 games. We're seeing a lot of those games get updates in order to look better on the PlayStation 5 or run better on the PlayStation 5. So I think we can get that also with PlayStation VR too, but
mm,
that's going to be up to the developer. And does the developer then, if they're going back to work on making these games PlayStation VR2 compatible, are they re-releasing the game? Are they charging for the update, or is it a free update? What's the Because I have like 30 PlayStation VR games. Like I would love for it to be backwards compatible. I would love to be able to just take my games and then play them on PlayStation VR too if I ever purchased it. But yeah, there is some technical limitations, but yeah, it does suck. And you're totally right. When thinking about buying a whole new piece of hardware that I had for my previous system, thinking about all those games are locked on my previous headset and my previous system that I really don't want to go back to sucks.
yeah. I mean that's something you gotta think about. I mean, well, I
Yep.
know you're working on your game space in your garage there, so I mean, maybe you can come up
Hmm.
with something good there that it's still in use. But the fact that it's like, if the day ever, I'm sure you will get it eventually, if you ever do get the PS5. And so it's like, I know you're big, you're in the VR niche. I can safely say
Hmm.
it's just gonna kill you to drop all that money again. And it's just like all the previous games you worked for, your hard earned money went to. It's just, yeah. I mean that's how I'd be feeling personally. I mean that's just me.
Yeah. No, I definitely do. I there's some games that I'll totally buy again, but
Mm.
um if I don't have to buy all 30 games again, that would be nice. So on to our next topic, and we're almost to our main topic. Let's see. So we're about an hour 20 in. Well, let's keep
Mhm.
it rolling.
Keep it rolling,
Let's
keep it rolling.
see. Reviews are in for Bayonetta. And they're relatively positive. So looking here at Metacritic, you can see here that Bayonetta has currently received a 88 score on Metacritic out of 90 reviews. Also, user score, as you see, it's a little bit lower at a 7.6, but still relatively favorable. Um, J Man, are you surprised by Bayonetta's current score, or are you happy for it, or what are
I'm
your
happy.
general impressions?
I'm happy for it, and I'm not surprised. I figured it was gonna do well because the two previous Bayonetta games did pretty good, also. But I think this game's getting more attention now because of the whole Helena Taylor situation, which I don't really want to get into. But I mean,
No.
just it's a from what I've been told, it's a good, great, fabulous game. I haven't played the previous two Bayonetta titles. If I ever do get a chance to play it, then I'll probably play this game. But if you've played the other two Bayonetta games, and if you're boycotting for a certain reason, I would say just stop doing it. Get off your high horse and just buy the game. Just remember that more people work on the game besides the voice actors. A lot goes into a video game, so
Hmm.
so that would be a reason to buy it. And then just overall fact that it's a good game. So just I mean, I'm pretty impressed with the results. By the way, I think the previous two titles did even better than that. But you gotta one was on the Wii U, and then even the previous generation of consoles, the first one. So I mean, this isn't like I mean, this isn't like they've done bad and it's doing great all of a sudden. So I expected it, and with Nintendo behind it, you haven't heard anything of like anything buggy or anything like that. When Nintendo's ready to release the game, they're ready to release it.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. So, pulling some of the reviews here off of Metacritic.
Mm.
Let's see. So, I'll go ahead and go to this one right here. This is by Gamer Spring. If you're a fan of Bayonetta 1 and 2, you are sure to love Bayonetta 3. Platinum's Games has managed to squeeze every ounce of power out of the Nintendo Switch to give us the best game in the franchise yet. Love the new mechanics, including the ability to use summons and actually control those summons. There's a lot of weapons and variety, but that being said, uh, there is a lot of issues with the graphics. So that's one right there. And then in terms of another one, another review. This is by App Sugar. For a game made by the same studio responsible for the previous two Bayonetta games, it's strange how often Bayonetta 3 feels like a poorly made fan port. The story has been built up and has been thrown wayside to introduce a tired multiverse concept. All the confidence in characters' development has been completely scrapped in favor of turning her into a lovingly motherly type character in in constant need of saving. Wonky camera angles and visuals make it look like this game should have gone back uh, back into the over for another year. It's playable and at times fun, but as part of the series, it's quite possibly the weakest chapter. Now, these are just some of the lesser reviews. Of course, there's a ton of reviews that
A lot of great
are
reviews on it,
a lot of
actually.
a lot of great reviews, but
Hmm.
those are just some of the ones that do mention
Yeah.
some of the lower parts of Bayonetta. So with that said, let's see. Should let's see. I guess my first question I would pose to you is: do we think this game would have been better released on multi-platforms since Nintendo and Platinum Games did have to push every ounce of power out of the Switch in order to get this to run?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would have run better on PS5 or Xbox Series X or S, or even the Xbox One or PS4 for that matter, if they wanted to put it
Mhm.
there. But I mean, there's no question about that. And I think this is, bringing up the classic question, or when's Nintendo coming out with their next set of hardware? So, I mean, I think people are waiting for it. I mean, I think the time will come. Maybe it obviously won't be this year. Maybe we can hope for an announcement at the Game Awards. I don't know, but just I
Yeah.
mean, they're just I don't know. They're trying to buy time. I don't know what they're doing. It's Nintendo at the end of the day. I mean, I'm a little worried for Zelda fans with that next Zelda game coming out in May of next year. So I mean, we'll see how that goes, and I think that'll be the determining factor. Is are we getting a new Switch finally, or a Switch Pro, or new Nintendo Switch, or whatever they want to call it, Switch 2? I mean, I think something has to be done because it's just dated hardware. But I mean, I know we
Yep.
keep hearing rumors. We keep talking about rumors on the show. So
We
I
haven't
mean,
talked about them recently, but
yeah,
we did
recently,
for
yeah,
a
we were
long
for
time.
we
Yeah.
were for a while, but yeah, I mean, I think the fair question, the fair statement to say is, I think, and I'm pretty sure that some Nintendo employees will agree also, that we need a more powerful Switch for what these developers want to put out on the Switch. Otherwise, in the end, it will become like the Wii U, where no one will want to put any game on that platform. So
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I do love that. No, I completely. I've been saying it for years. You know, I would love for Nintendo to put out a stronger piece of hardware, and make it backwards compatible, so I can play all my Switch games on my new Switch. But I'm gonna pose one other question for you before we move on.
yeah.
Do you think that Bayonetta sales are going to be negatively affected by all the drama that has happened?
Absolutely not.
Mhm.
I think they're going to be better for than what the game would have done, in my opinion. I mean, like I said, I'm still not picking it up because I got a whole another set of games to play. But I mean, if I could, I would. If I
If you
played
played the first two.
yeah, if I played the first two, and if I was looking for something to play right now, I probably would pick this one up. So I mean,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's not gonna affect the sales at all. I think on Amazon, I think it was actually number one for a minute there in terms of pre-sales or something like
Okay.
that. So it was. I mean, I could be wrong. You can fact check me, but yeah, it was actually doing pretty good in the pre-sales. So I'm waiting to see those numbers to see how much it sold. So
Nice.
I don't think it's gonna affect it at all. Not at all.
Okay, I love it. Yeah, no, I think the sales should be relatively strong also. I definitely think there's gonna be people that still don't buy it, because of the negative press, that don't follow press, that
Yeah,
they don't follow all the news stories and found out, like, all the stuff, all the aftermath and and everything that happened, and, how, Helena was essentially lying,
yeah,
or not posting all the truths,
yeah.
however you wanna say that.
She
So
just
I
she,
def
she just made herself look bad. It's just like, come
Real
on.
bad. Yeah, yeah, that's gonna I've man.
You know how Twitter, you know how everyone shouldn't be on Twitter.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, I think she's one of those people.
Mhm.
Twitter is bad for some people. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, totally agree. Let's see. So, just keeping that thread about games that have come out, in positive light as of recently, we have our next game. Can you guess it?
God of War Ragnarok.
That is correct. So, God of War Ragnarok has released to stellar reviews and stellar impressions, and you can find them all over the internet. Um, Justin, with the release of so many impressions of God of War Ragnarok, um, how do you feel? Is this pretty much what you expected? Will you
I
be picking up God of War day one?
I didn't expect the reviews to be this good. I mean, eventually, I will probably have to the nosedive into it like I did Elden Ring, with the praise it got. But right now, I got like you, I gotta finish the previous God of War. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I am I gonna get it? I definitely see myself getting this game down the line for my PS5.
Okay.
And so, I mean, it's safe to say that. So, I mean, yes, I will get it, but I need to finish the last one before
Yeah.
moving on. But I mean, it's I mean, if you did finish God of War on the PS4, this should be a no brainer. You know, this
Mhm.
probably yeah. Well, like people were saying, I mean, maybe it was a fix, maybe it wasn't, but game of the year this year is going to come down to either Elden Ring or this one. So it's just a matter of what the fans choose and all that stuff. And you know,
Of
we will
course.
be keeping up with the game awards very closely. So I'm excited to see when it's showtime at that award show in December. But getting back to this game, I mean, from what I've seen, the previews look great, and you know, just it looks like they just keep elevating the series higher and higher and higher, setting the bar, you know, and for
Mhm.
what it originally was, you know, just a straight up hack and slash.
Yeah.
I mean, just the developers, Santa Monica Studio, they deserve, you know, they deserve a lot of praise, you know. So I'm sure they're
Yeah.
very excited for the game, and you know, just definitely support them any way you can. Great
Yeah.
game, great. It's
Yeah.
looking great, and no, and even with a 94, you have no mixed reviews or anything. So
Yeah. I mean,
everything
just
is positive. So it's kind of hard for anyone to just say anything bad about the game before it even comes out. You know, unless you're not a God of War fan. But even then, still, just I'm
yeah.
sure everyone who plays a great adventure game can get something out of this. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to November 9th when this game comes out.
Mhm. I totally agree with you. Like, there's some things that, like, you just have to play. Like,
Hmm.
with something being, like, called, like, one of the greatest games of all time, I feel like you owe it to yourself to at least give it a try and at least play it. The original God of War also got a 94 on Metacritic,
Hmm.
and it was, like, about 118 reviews. And whereas this one is like at 124 reviews, also at a 94. And God of War, the original one, like revolutionized the
Yeah.
franchise. Like it was so new and it did something so different at the time. For the sequel to come out and do something very similar is absolutely amazing. Is
Yeah.
absolutely insane. And if you think like, The Last of Us versus like the versus like well, I guess it's not the same. Just The Last of Us 2. Like there was a more definitive or more decisive opinion about that. That like The Last of Us was the greatest thing. Like why are they even making a sequel? And then The Last of Us 2, a lot of people felt like that was an amazing game and that was a great game, but in the same respect, a lot of people are like, like I like the first one better and so forth. And I still think you're gonna get that here, but just to see this come out with so much like so much vigor and so much like just positivity around what this game has done, I think is you don't see that oftentimes with every sequel. Like, of course it gets better, and we saw that with Horizon Zero Dawn earlier this year. Like Horizon Forbidden West was a better version of Horizon Zero Dawn, no
Mm.
question, no, nothing
Yeah.
about it. Horizon Forbidden West is probably not going to be like in the game in the year talk much,
No,
you
not
know,
really. No.
because yeah, while it did everything better, and
Yeah.
there was a it was definitely like a better version of itself. It didn't revolutionize itself in that second iteration.
Mm.
There wasn't enough twists and turns or story, or there wasn't enough weight behind it. I don't know what it was. There wasn't enough behind the game in order to drive it to the conversations that we're already hearing with God of War. God of War, in terms of story and gameplay mechanics and surprises, that's all I've been hearing from like all
Yeah.
these from like all these like non-spoiler cast, is that there's enough in this game that warrants a play, that warrants it being potentially game of the year. And a lot of people's already favorite game of the year or favorite game altogether, even above the first one. So really excited to play this. I will be playing it on PlayStation 4. That is the one issue that I have is even though it says even though like this says 94 on here, the PlayStation 4 version, there's not many reviews around it.
Oh,
Everyone that plays it on PlayStation 5. But for the people that have placed on the PlayStation 4 version, there's I'm not hearing much difference.
mhm.
I'm not hearing that there's that much there's any issue whatsoever in comparison of the games. So there might be some longer load times. The graphics aren't going to be as smooth. You're not going to get of course that the ambient light and the and it running at 60 frames per second. But I hear that the PlayStation 4 version is comparable, and you still get that same story experience. You still get the same gameplay experience. um so yeah, I'll let people know when I jump in on PlayStation 4 how I'm experiencing that game.
All right, for sure, definitely. I mean, I know hopefully it's not too much of a dip in terms of graphical performance, but I'm curious to know.
Yeah, no. So I'm happy to share with everyone when I get there. So I'll finish up the God of War this week, and then when this comes out, yeah, I'll be picking this up this week also. So
Day one pickup, right?
day one pickup for me. Yeah. I think my only last note is before we move on to our main topic, where does Sony Santa Monica go for here? Should they make another God of War game, or would you like to see them make a new IP?
Either a new IP or maybe resurrect something from the past that Sony would like to see him do. I mean, this is an amazing studio, one of the best in the industry. So, I mean, the sky's the limit for them. But if they have a great original idea, excuse me, I would love to see them, try to make a new IP.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I would love to see a PlayStation 5
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
PS5. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
sure their next whatever they do next is probably just gonna be PS5 only. I mean, more of them are
yeah.
getting it a while now, so PlayStation 4 is looking more and more just third parties and indies at this point. But so
Mhm. Yeah, just the what they've done with this game, just in terms of graphical fidelity, I'd be so amazed, and I'm sure happy to see what they can do with the power of the PlayStation 5 only. I can't wait for that day. It's going to be
yeah.
probably another 6 years. But I can't wait for that to happen.
All right, for sure, definitely, definitely. All
All
right.
right. Well, on to our main topic. So, the main topic for today is with all or most of all major AAA games released. Okay, we pretty much have them all at this point. There's only going to be a couple more. We got your Call of Duties, we have your God of Wars, we have your Horizons. We got nothing for Microsoft. We have your Kirby's. We have your Mario versus Rabbids. We have your Bayonettas. We have your Elden Rings. We have all these AAA games are pretty much all out. We're not getting much for the rest of the year. Um, what are some of your favorite indie games of this year, and why? To start the conversation, Justin, do you have like a couple indie games, maybe one, two, three, or more indie games that you love from this year?
Well, I mean, in terms of indie games, I mean, I gotta start the conversation. And I'll probably talk about this when we talk about our games of the year for our final end of year episode. But
Hmm.
you gotta start with Shredder's Revenge. I mean, I was a little optimistic going into it when it was announced and everything. And I mean, not to say I didn't have high expectations for it. I knew it was gonna be good, just something, but I didn't know it would be great. Pretty much, just taking what they did from those previous Turtle games on the NES and SNES and Genesis or whatnot, and just putting it together in that game was just so excellent. And just you couldn't ask for anything better. It's pretty much arguably the best Turtles game out there. And Dot Emu Studios, they deserve a lot of credit for what they did. I mean, I mean, especially with the sprites, I see why the game got delayed and everything. So, I mean, the fact that you can be, not just the Turtles, but Splinter, April, Casey Jones, and then they pretty much have all the villains from, the arcade game to the Manhattan Project, to Turtles in Time. It's they just really outdid themselves with that game, and hopefully we, as a podcast, can play some more Turtle Shredder's Revenge, for another year, definitely,
Mhm.
especially with now that we got Xbox now. Hey, no excuses. A lot of people like the game on Xbox for the online communities. Well, let's show them, folks.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge was just such a love letter to the Ninja
uh,
Turtles.
yeah,
It was a love letter to classic games, and
yeah, it was.
really just put kind of brawlers on the map. Like it is, it is like there's been some really good brawlers, and we've talked about them to death on this show. But like River City Girls,
Second one should
Scott,
be coming out soon. Yeah,
yep,
Scott
yep,
Pilgrim versus the World.
yeah, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Just to name a few, are legendary, and this is on the map with them. This is one
Mhm.
of the best brawlers I've ever played, along with one of the most fun games I've ever played, and just the fact that it's Ninja Turtles, it makes it even better.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that is I would have to say one of my favorite indie games for this year also, by
Oh,
far.
okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Yeah, definitely.
Did you have a number two?
Number two, I would have to go probably Real Grade, even though it's been out for a minute. But I just recently been getting hooked to that one. I know I
No,
keep talking Real Grade on this show.
no,
People
you're
are thinking
fine.
like,
Talk it up, because so people realize how great it is, so they can
yeah,
so they can play it. Yeah.
yeah, Real Grade. I mean, well, it came out on the PC a little over a year ago, and then it came to Switch in September. It was actually announced with that Indies Direct a while back, so it
Hmm.
kind of caught my eye. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I was always into like locomotive trains and stuff growing up,
I did not know that. Yeah.
like Thomas the Tank Engine. Like it was, yeah, trains were always like just little, just interesting to me growing up. I mean, I didn't have too many of them, mainly because just Thomas the Tank Engine. Just you can only play that for so long as a as a
Hmm.
little boy, but I figured why not? It's been a while since I played like a, sim like that or anything like that. So it was like, looks interesting. I should probably just give this game a go, give it a try. And it's it's just addicting, man. And it's just so much to do. They're talking about adding more regions. I was just like, this game's gonna just take up a lot of hours of what I'm doing, dude. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like it's a pretty much like puzzle game, strategy sim puzzle game, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
Got to get like materials from one end to another, and then
Yeah.
export them or whatever the like main objective is. And then there's just so many ways to do it. You get like a certain amount of money. You can get loans. You can get um, yeah,
Yeah,
just
I never pegged you for a strategy game guy. So
mm,
like, you listening to you talk about this game,
yeah.
for a genre that I really don't see you or talk to you about you
Yeah, we don't
playing
talk
that
about it as
often.
much. I mean,
Yeah.
Advance
So,
Wars, and then what was the other one I played for a while? War Groove.
mhm,
But
mhm.
that was just like way too long, and that got a little hideous after a while. But I mean, I can play them for the most part, but
Yeah.
I think I don't play them as much, and just
Yeah, no, I mean, this looks I can see like some of the elements of why you can kind of like fall into a deep hole with this and be addicted.
yeah,
Just the amount of kind of building out your systems and your city and your kind of just like your rails,
yeah.
is looks absolutely incredible. It takes me back to quite a few of the games that I used to be addicted to also.
Hmm.
So when thinking about like Sim City was like really really big. I
Oh yeah,
remember.
Sun City. Oh yeah, little
Yeah.
little short story behind that. I remember when I went to your house one day when we were kids. You played Sim
Mm.
City. You didn't think I'd like it that much.
No, I
Yeah, yeah,
didn't.
yeah. I remember that
Yeah.
conversation. I don't think you'll really like this game. I'm like, well, let's just give it a try. And what do you know? I got my own copy of Sim City. So
No. Yeah, that one was a surprising one for even for me, like, being a kid and
Uh-huh.
being like, "I'm gonna build my own city," but then, like, always the funnest part was causing natural disasters
That was
after
funny.
after the fact and just destroying everything,
Yeah.
was probably always my favorite part, like, after I got bored, after, like,
Oh, let's
working
destroy this.
yeah, like 20 hours on my city, always like causing like a flood or a hurricane or an alien just coming to destroy everything was always the great part or a kaiju. Yeah, good
Yeah.
times.
That SimCity was a good time. Oh, yeah, and Bowser was in the game too, you know?
Yep, yep. Let's see. And so we have Ninja Turtles and we have Railgrade. I think for my second one, it's gonna be Ollie Ollie World.
Ollie World, yes. That's a
Yeah, number two. That game is so good. The mechanic. If you played Ollie Ollie, Ollie Ollie one or Ollie Ollie two, um, those games, those mechanics are so well done. Honestly, some of the best, like if you like Skate or if you like Tony Hawk, very much like this is a different type of game since it's a 2D a 2D skater, but the mechanics that they've built in and the trial and error that they've built in along with the art style. The art style is absolutely insane for these games. It is so well done. And it's just so much fun. It comes from Roll 7, and they just outdid themselves with that game. And yeah, it's just so colorful, so vibrant, so much fun. Ollie Ollie World honestly deserves way more credit than it's gotten this year. They did, or they are, I believe they did. They just released DLC for it. Um, so now it's like the world's been expanded even more, and you can do like crazier and bigger tricks. Like there's like a wind glide where like you like ride into the wind and then whatever way the wind's pushing, like you can like kind of like ride it that opposite direction and you like go flying through the skies and stuff like that. So while the game was like more settled and more based on reality originally, the DLC takes it to like that kind of like outer weird like weird realm. Like the game was already pretty weird as you can obviously see if you're watching the video episode of this. um but it was still more grounded in reality. Whereas the DLC just really takes it to another level. But Ollie Ollie World is so much fun, and it's not as punishing as the original Ollie Ollie 1 and Ollie Ollie 2. It's really like I was playing to perfection in the very beginning, but then I just decided like I actually want to beat the game. Like I want to beat the game. So then I just started playing the game just to get through the levels, and I think like I have fun doing that, but just perfecting it and getting all these accessories that like you see on all these different characters because you can customize your character is so much of the fun. And perfecting a level is great. I love high scores, but I love the cosmetics even more and making my character my own. But yeah, just Roll 7 did such a great job. Just a game that I probably knew I was gonna love, but when they released the art style, that took it to another level for me. And yeah, I love that game, and I will push it and I'll bolster it and just champion that game for as many people as I can. So if you haven't played it, go buy it. Support that studio. Wonderful work, and I can't wait for the next DLC. And I can't wait for their next game. But they have released another game this year. They also did Roller Drome, which we'll be talking
Mm.
about a little bit in a moment too. But that's my number two. What's your do you have a number three for favorite
Uh,
game?
yeah, there was this one game I played a while back. I forget the name of it. I'd have to look on my Switch real quick, but it was similar to this one game. I'll just talk about this one, the Pedestrian. That was a really
Hmm.
good, just quick game that you can get through real quick. Little bit of a love letter to a console we played a while back, but the Pedestrian, I thought, I didn't know what to expect, but it was very quick, easy. Well, not easy, but definitely some tough spots here and there, and then just even like the beginning of the game, like all right, you go through here and you just keep going, and
Hmm.
it could take you about you could beat the game in maybe 5 hours or so. It's not it's nothing too hard. But I mean, I feel well. I know this didn't come out like I think it came out last year, but I
Yeah, it
mean, in
came out
terms of
last year. Yeah.
what I played this year, I mean, it's this has been it's been pretty cool. And then it's like you draw the line, go from one end to the other. So yeah, so I mean, I definitely enjoyed that one quite a bit, and there were some tough spots, toward the end, but I mean, for the most part, I got through them. Um, but I mean, yeah, this is a nice puzzle game. Uh, so yeah, definitely, if you are looking for something relaxing to play or something, get your mind off of those AAA games. This would be your bet here, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I think in terms of like last year's games, I think the Pedestrian is definitely one of the best indies of last year. Yeah, so definitely if you haven't played that one, I believe it's still on Game Pass.
Yeah, Game
So
Pass. I know. I think it also came on PlayStation Plus a while back. So
okay, it also came in play. Oh, no, I did not
mm,
know that. So that's
mm.
awesome. So yeah, if you missed it on PlayStation Plus, though, you could always buy the game. So, or if
Yeah.
you, or if you're on Game Pass, you can still buy the game. But other than that, I mean, those are some of our favorites. I did create a definitive Game and Watch list
Oh, you
for all
did.
those people out there. Yes. So let's kind of go through them real quickly. Let's see. We are, yeah, we're doing okay on time. We'll get to the release rundown in about 5 minutes.
All right.
But in regards to
Oh
the
yeah. Real
list,
quick,
yeah,
Elect Head. That's the name of the game.
Alekhead, that's right. I
Yeah,
do remember you talking about that one.
I'd
Yeah,
actually pulled up on my Switch right now just to say. But yeah, that was also another good one. So I would put that one along with the Pedestrian as my number three. So Elect Head.
nice, nice. I'm adding that to the definitive list. Okay,
Okay.
so all right. So here goes the definitive list for all you watchers and listeners out there that are looking for the best indie games of 2022. I do have images for some of them, but there was just too many games. There was
Yeah.
too many indie games to list. But here goes a couple of the images for the few, and then I'll go down the list for the rest. So first off, we have Spelunky 2. So this game
Spelunky
was
2.
available for PC prior to it. It was on early release, early access on PC, but for consoles, it was just released this year. So Spelunky 2 is the first one, and that is a roguelike or yeah, it's a roguelike game or Metroidvania type of game. So yeah, very 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 cool. You can go through the levels over and over again. The levels are procedurally generated, so they're always changing. So you'll never play the same level twice, and then you always have different characters.
Spelunky 2. Okay.
Yeah. Here goes my pick, my number two right here. Here goes Ollie Ollie World, and then there goes the DLC Void Riders, right there. Once again, Roller 7 killed it. Or Roll 7 killed it, and yeah, go ahead and pick up that game. Even if you're not a fan of skating games, I think it could appeal to most people. So beyond that one, Sifu. So
Seafood. Okay.
yes,
We're gonna be talking about
Sifu.
that in a few moments. We're gonna be.
Yeah, Sifu was a big game this year. It was a timed exclusive for PlayStation, but Sifu was a unknown quantity and yeah, released to critical acclaim. And so Sifu definitely one of the biggest games this year. Did you ever end up picking up that one? Sifu?
No, I did not. But I mean, I definitely
Okay.
should give it a go whenever I get a chance. But yeah, definitely seafood. I definitely will put on that list.
And Sifu was actually like helped. I feel like helped the brawler genre because we don't really get 3D brawlers, but that's exactly what this game is. So I think in terms of the brawler genre, like if we did see like more 3D brawlers come out, I think Sifu is going to be the gold standard in terms of what people look at when they create their own. Let's see. So next game we have Backbone. So yeah, Backbone is a game that was actually released on Game Pass earlier this year, and yeah, it's a dystopian noir adventure game. where you play a raccoon detective. So
Backbone. Okay.
yeah, this was it a decent game. It got decent reception. It got the greatest ratings, but
Mm.
I found it interesting enough that it deserved a spot on the definitive list for best indie games for the Game and Watch podcast of 2022. Let's see. And then our next game we have
Cult of the
Cult of the
Lamb.
Lamb. Yes. This game is the game that keeps on giving. Also very much like a roguelike where you build your own and village builder and cult builder. Cult of the Lamb covers a lot of great different aspects. The art style is gorgeous, but then on top of that, it just came out to critical success. And we've talked about it. We talked about it on previous episodes, but it's already winning it a one game of the year
Mm.
in Australia, and I think is going to be up for a ton of indie
Yeah.
awards
Yes.
coming this
Yeah.
come
Well.
season.
Yeah. I think I would expect that game to win quite something at the Game Awards. So we'll definitely have to wait and see.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So that I would definitely give that one. I mean, I would give all these really a play. But yeah, that comes from Devolver Digital. So please go pick up the Cult of the Lamb. Let's see. And then
Hmm.
next we have Teenage
Uh,
Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Yes. We've already kind of talked this one into the ground, but yeah, it definitely a must play. I'm
yeah.
not going to say much else than that, but
Definitely
two
play
to
it if you haven't played it. That's all I can tell you at this point.
yes,
If you can play with 6 players, try that too. I hear it's insane.
yeah, it definitely looks insane. Yeah, go if you have friends to play with, go pick it up, and if you don't have friends, email us. We'll play with you. Like
Yeah,
that.
we got Game Pass, so
Yeah,
yes, definitely
that easy. We will play with you.
have it on all 3
Um,
platforms. So
yeah, yeah. Let's see, and our next game is Young Souls. So this is a game I started earlier this year, and
Mm.
I did not finish. But essentially, you are two orphans, I believe, if I'm remembering
Yeah, I
correctly.
remember. Yeah, 2 orphans.
Yeah, and
Looked
then you have
interesting.
yeah, and you have this doctor that's taking care of you, or the scientist that's taking care of you. He does a horrible job taking care of you, so you're pretty much taking care of yourself. But essentially, he opens a door to another dimension to I believe stop an invasion. But essentially, they get through and they start destroying the world as we know it. But yeah, Young Souls is was a very interesting game. It yeah, I mean, I would say it's an action, more of an action adventure type of game.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, had a great art style. I did have fun with it for what I played. I played a few hours. It's a relatively short game, so I think it shouldn't take too long to beat. So if I did want to jump back in now that I renewed my Game Pass, I might have to do that. But yeah, I one of those games that you should definitely pick up or play if you have yet to. Let's see, and for the next on the list, we have Tunic.
Doing it.
Yes, Tunic is now available everywhere. This game was originally a Game Pass exclusive game.
Prime.
Yep, timed exclusive. But now you can play it everywhere. You can play it on your Switch. You can play it on your PlayStation. You can play it on your Xbox. Yeah, Tunic, very much a Zelda-like game, but you are this cute little fox here. Yeah, Tunic is a game that very much the secrets lie in the what you don't know, and as you build out your instruction manual, which is very quaint and very very awesome that you get to do, you get to find out more techniques that you could have done from the very beginning of the game, and very much just secrets that you could have experienced from the very beginning of the game only if you knew. And then yeah, just one of the best, definitely one of the best games of this year, which I'm sure will receive a ton of great awards also. Let's see. I think we only have a couple more that I'm going to show in terms of videos, and then I'll just go down the short list.
Mhm.
But let's see. Anno Mutation. When Cyberpunk came out, and everyone was like, Cyberpunk is not what I expected or what I wanted. Anno Mutation came out shortly after, and Anno Mutation, while it's not a first person first person game. It is a third person action adventure game with um got it with more simple graphics. This is a love letter to cyberpunk games. It is honestly great cyberpunk game. So you should go play it if you missed this one this year. um let's see. And I don't think there's too many more,
Neon
but
White.
Neon White came out to critical reception earlier this year. Neon White was a first person speed running game. Even if
Mm,
you're not a speed runner, this was the game that everyone was like when it came out. I think it just shocked everyone. Yeah, it's you're speed running through the level. You're collecting cards to give you power ups through the level, and you're racing through. And the ultimate goal is to get those faster and faster times, while battling enemies real quickly throughout. But if you could avoid the enemies, there's all these different shortcuts and so forth that you can take through the game. And this game surprised a lot of people.
mm,
So definitely a game that is worthy of your time and your play. And actually, that's it for the images that I have. And then I have my short list right here. So I'll just run down these real quickly. We have Weird West.
Weird
We
West.
have, yep, Moss Book 2, which is a PlayStation
Mm.
VR and Oculus game. We have Rogue Legacy 2. We have Lake, where you're the mail carrier.
Oh, yeah, I think
I
I've heard of that
believe
one. Okay.
Matt Bliss played that, so definitely a game that you should play.
Mm.
Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah.
We'd be doing everyone a disservice if we did not talk about that game. So, Mr. Madness, I wish you could have been here to talk about more about that game. But Power Wash Simulator is a game that indie game that is a must play. We have Loot River. We have Trek to Yomi.
Mm. Okay. I played
Yep,
it. I
that
didn't like it that much, but it was all right.
yeah, I think everyone was really high on the Ghost of Tsushima train. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, it fell
Yeah.
short of what people were expecting. But
Yeah. The
I
whole
think it
platformer thing with that, it just didn't work out for me. I mean, that's just
yeah, but in terms of the best indie games this year, I still feel like it's one of the best.
yeah.
There's Unpacking.
Unpacking.
So
Oh, that's
yeah,
funny. That's
if
a
you
funny
played,
game.
yep, Overcooked. Unpacking is very similar in that realm. There's Cuphead, The Last Course. Definitely, if you played Cuphead, that expansion or that DLC adds just a wealth of gameplay. So you should definitely play that one. Loop Mancer. What we've talked about that on a previous episode. We saw this one in the comments. Autumn mentioned this one, Stray, which was a game that I got to the very end and I did not finish, but I should probably go back and finish that one. There's also another one that I mentioned earlier, Roller Drome, which is
Ruler
the
Drum. Yeah.
yep, where you're the on the skates and you're shooting up people while you're on the skates, and there's a lot of slow motion effects in that game. There's the Cowabunga Collection, which we've talked about quite a few times
I wouldn't
on
call that
this.
an indie game, but I mean, I guess collection wise, yeah, it's a great collection to pick up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would say. I mean, okay, so it's done by indie developer.
Yeah.
In terms of
Yeah.
remakes.
Mm.
So yeah, maybe not an indie game, but I think definitely a worthy play
Yeah.
this year.
Especially if you're a Turtles fan, yeah, definitely pick that one up. Just
Yep.
wait for them to fix the online. That's all I want to say. But
hmm There's our friends of Dukes of Gaming, Alfredo, a champion in this game. There's Tinykin. So Tinykin, please definitely go check out that one. There's Scorn. Let's see, which recently just released a Game Pass that you should definitely play. There's Return to Monkey Island, which is a lovely indie game that's about to come out. And there's Elekhead, which Tutal mentioned just a moment ago.
you like it?
And
That was a good one. No.
those are the Game and Watch episodes, definitive list for any games that you should play for 2022. I know we're running short on time. We only have a couple more minutes left before we have to close this episode. But before we do, we're gonna go ahead and nail down the release rundown. Tutal, would you be able to read the list for me today?
Oh, yes, of course. I would love to. All right. So, November 8th is a big day for games. I'm not even going to count how many games are coming out that day, but going into next week or this week, rather, this is going to be like the last week of big releases. Maybe early December, you'll see a few, but for the most part, I think this is it for this month for the big shabam of releases. So, we'll just do this. November 8th, we have a lot of releases. A little to the left on PC and Mac. We got Football Manager 2023, which we talked about earlier. It's coming to the Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Oddworld Soulstorm coming to the Switch. You got Return to Monkey Island coming to the PS5, Xbox Series X and S. It's already on the Switch, so definitely check it out if you been wanting to play that one. Seafew is coming to the Switch. And the big game I've been waiting for next week, Sonic Frontiers, coming to all consoles and PC. November 9th, the big day, God of War Ragnarok. Yeah, so PS5 and PS4. Then November 10th, we have Vampire Survivors. That's going to be on the Xbox Series X and X and Xbox One. That's going to be released Game Pass. It's already on PC if you guys want to check it out there. November 11th, you have the Atari 50 and the anniversary celebration. That's coming to all consoles and PC. And then also November 11th, you have Resident Evil 2 coming to the Switch. Oh dear God, we can only cross our fingers. Also, November 11th, Tactics Org Reborn for the PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC. And Valkyrie Elysium is coming to PC November 11th, and that is it for the release rundown.
Amazing. Let's see. Real quickly before we close out the episode, let's see. I'm really excited about Tactics Org Reborn.
Hmm.
That game is the Final Fantasy Tactics game that I've been waiting for from Square, but
Yeah,
it's not called Final Fantasy Tactics. Oh God, Square, why are you teasing me? That game seems absolutely incredible. Other than that, there's some other great games here, but
to
that
be
is my
fair, yeah, that's
that's
your
my
big.
big one. Yeah, that
Yeah,
game. I'm also picking that one up day one. Um,
for me, definitely Sonic Frontiers. I mean, I'm just waiting for the reviews to come in. Hopefully, it doesn't disappoint me like the other two games I was really looking forward to this year. And then, want to give Vampire Survivors a shot come November 10th, and maybe Return to Monkey Island. And just that's those are the games I'm looking forward to. The Atari 50, the anniversary celebration.
yeah,
Wasn't really big of an Atari fan, but I hear they actually do have stuff from their later catalog, like the Atari Jaguar, I believe it was called
yeah.
that
Why
thing.
did they even release that Atari Retro console? This is all they needed to do.
Yeah, so like, yeah, like I mean, if you're an Atari fan, great. I'm sure it'll just be another collection for collection of games for you guys collection. So just I probably won't pick it up myself, but I mean, I'm just saying that for any retro gamers out there, that would be something to look at. And then, of course, God of War Ragnarok. Not gonna
Yeah,
forget that. So,
yeah.
all
I
right.
said
So,
definitely picking that up. So I'm gonna be spending some money this holiday season. No
yeah,
one's getting any presents except for myself. So
yeah, definitely. All right. Ready for chat room real quick?
yeah, yeah. Let's go ahead and pick some comments real quickly.
Well, we only had one person who wrote in today. Autumn Jay, thank you for doing so again. Wrote in kind of late. I thought we weren't going to get any, but
Yeah,
I got to go with this one. With her favorite indie game choice, being Stray. The graphics, the storyline, and emotional connection was just amazing to her. So,
hmm
shouting you out there, Stray was her indie game of the year choice.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you kind of took mine. But I guess
You can
just
go with the
in
other one.
I will go ahead and just say this one right here. Power Wash caught people off guard about how enjoyable and how addictive it was to play. So yeah, I completely agree. Caught a lot of people off guard, and I already mentioned his name once, but Matt Bliss championed that game from the very beginning when we were all like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
called that from a mile
yeah,
away.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then another thing she said too was The TMNT brought back the nostalgia of being a kid in an arcade, and yet had the feel of a new beat 'em up. And really, I like this last one here. The soundtrack was fire, which was
Yeah, that's
nothing
true.
on the
We
truth. Yeah,
we forgot to mention that, but
yeah,
we've talked about it in previous episodes, but yeah, we didn't talk about that
yeah.
this episode.
But the soundtrack, yeah, hopefully, it won some music awards at least
Oh
at
yeah.
the game awards. Anything else, F, or are we through?
No, no, that's it. We're gonna wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with us today on this wonderful, wonderful Sunday morning. Once again, I can't thank you all enough for just being a part of the Game and Watch podcast, watching, hanging out, and listening. Please like, subscribe, and follow, and please share with your friends so we can keep the episode going. Other than that, yeah, visit our Patreon, support there if you're able. And yeah, thank you for being here. Other than that, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll catch you next week on next week's episode 112 of the Game and Watch podcast.
Later.
And later.